Now, former Las Vegas Raiders head coach John Gruden was just 4 years into a 10-year contract worth a reported $100 million when he announced his resignation this morning. The resignation comes after emails that were part of an NFL investigation into an alleged toxic work environment in the Washington Redskins organization. I'm sorry, I should say Washington football team. That's where all this happened. It's worth noting Gruden wasn't even a target of the investigation. For more on this, let's bring in First TV contributor and founder of Young Americans Against Socialism, Morgan ZEGERS. Morgan, good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Buck.
What are we supposed to make of this? The guy wasn't a target of an investigation, but people found emails because of another investigation of an organization that he had nothing to do with. He said some things that were very unwise to put in an email, but now he's lost his job. What do we make of it?
Yeah, I mean, this one was a unique one for me because I know this won't be like a spicy take, Buck, but honestly, if you're a boss, if you are the leader of a workplace, then you probably shouldn't be speaking like that, especially on work emails. But at the end of the day, where do we have room for grace? Do we have room for forgiveness? Or was this a situation where his behavior, his rhetoric was just creating a toxic workplace and he had to go? So it's one of those situations where we don't really know the full details. And because of cancel culture these days, we just have no room for forgiveness.
And what do we make of the fact that there are a lot of people who will point to double standards in the NFL specifically about how you can be an alleged or even convicted felon, violent felon, or have a violent felony in one's past, multiple sexual assault allegations, and the NFL turns a blind eye to that. But you say the wrong things, and by the way, it was from he was acting in his private capacity, but he sent emails to somebody who, it was on their work server, and that's how this all came out. But he's fired people that actually commit crimes or not. There does seem to be a double standard.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a double standard in all of society. We see it in pop culture, we see it in music, we see it really all over the place, where like the women's movement are the same ones promoting the hip hop singers and hip hop songs that talk about degrading women and using them as objects. And so society's full of double standards these days. I don't think there's justice in this situation at all. I wish that they would have given him grace. It also made me think of what happened at CNN. I mean, remember when Jeffrey Toobin was caught like masturbating on a Zoom call with his work employees, like his fellow employees on the Zoom call. And then they brought him back months later and just brought him on back, said, welcome on, and we're going to incorporate you back in the workplace. And to me, it's strange to see how companies choose to do this, and technology certainly adds to it. But I do wish that we were more of a graceful society when this kind of stuff happens. And it's a shame to see this while they allow people with domestic violence situations on their record to continue to play.
Switching gears for a moment, but I guess staying in the general realm of sports, the Brooklyn Nets just announced they're effectively banning point guard KYRIE Irving from the team until he gets vaccinated. This is from the New York Post. Given the evolving nature of the situation and after thorough deliberation, we have decided KYRIE Irving will not play or practice with the team until he is eligible to be a full participant. This is from Brooklyn General Manager Sean Marks in a statement earlier today. Irving, however, is not backing down here. What do you make of it?
Good for him. I hope he holds the line. I mean, in true fashion of your show, right? I hope he holds the line. Same thing with the Southwest employees. Same thing with the other athletes that are speaking out. I mean, I even saw LeBron James retweeted something and shared a quote tweet with his own remarks in support of it about vaccination mandates on players. And I feel for them. Honestly, Buck, I don't watch a lot of movies, a lot of TV, a lot of like high level sports with the celebrity kind of athletes. If anything, I'll go to like a local football game or I'll watch the college team. I was at the ASU game last week. But for me, I just don't believe in putting these celebrities on pedestals. I don't believe in putting these sports teams on pedestals where, like you were saying earlier, they have these terrible crimes that they've committed and then they're put on the field for all these young minds to watch and look up to. I think all of it is really disturbing when you can kind of get into the nitty gritty of it. But I have been paying so much attention to sports over the last couple of months because of the vaccination mandate. So this grandma, I may not be very cool, but I've been paying attention to this pop culture stuff, whether Nicki Minaj or the athletes, everything. And I really commend him. I hope that this is a really big wake-up call for everyone. We've lived in such complacency, such dangerous complacency, where we don't take we do take for granted our luxuries and our freedoms that we have here in America. And we take for granted that we live in a society of choice. For now, though, we no longer live in a society of choice. We are in many ways forced to do certain things because of this pandemic, and specifically these vaccine mandates. So the athletes that are experiencing this for the first time, I hope it's a very eye-opening experience, and I hope that it shifts their beliefs on the role of government in their lives.
And for those who are holding the line, pardon the expression, the Southwest airline situation seems to have gotten a lot of attention the last couple of days. We talked about it here on the show. I'm hearing, including from pilots calling in on radio, that it's a combination of factors, Morgan, that there are some people who are either using up sick days in advance of the mandate, others staying home, and there are some logistical and routing problems that Southwest has had come together in this kind of perfect storm in the last few days. What are you hearing about it? But also, what do you think of the possibility here that it's the beginning of the first real pushback effort from in a major corporation against the vaccine mandate?
Oh, Buck, I mean, you're talking to the right girl here. So I fully expected this to happen for quite some time. People that think, oh, we're almost at the tail end because people are getting vaccinated and we're all set. We are entering a whole new phase of American life, and I hope people are ready. Get on board because the train has left the station. What I'm excited, though, is courage is contagious. So first you see like little situations of Nicki Minaj. You see these athletes that never talk about politics are starting to speak out and say, I deserve choice. I deserve autonomy over my own body. This is really fascinating. So when these first vaccine mandates were announced by Biden, a lot of people panicked. They said, I'm going to have to get it. I'm going to have to quit my job. And I started to try and tell people, no. This is all part of the problem of us having this basic ignorance as Americans. We don't fully understand our federalist system, and we just look at what DC tells us to do, DC politicians, DC bureaucrats, and we think that that is what we now have to comply with. That is wrong. We have a federalist system. These states will protect us. Our local governments are there for us. Our local sheriffs and law enforcement are there for us. And then on a individual level, as employees and employers, we also have the power to check the government. The people have power. Our founders intended for us to be able to fight back in these situations. They anticipated these moments of tyranny and these unconstitutional mandates, and they wanted to give us the power to fight back. We have the power to end these things. We just need to stand up. So the Southwest employees that did this, bravo. Thank God they did it, because it's inspiring people to realize you can have change on an individual level. You have to work together at the community level, employer level, chamber of commerce level, work with your local leaders, work with local law enforcement, coordinate with state leaders, and then the states will fight back. That's what we just saw with Texas as well. Governor Abbott just declared that those vaccine mandates are now illegal.
Morgan ZEGERS, always good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.